get some credit for that. In order to be exempt from all those wage laws, that's how you sort of establish that it truly is an educational purpose. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but the Department of Labor has this primary beneficiary. Who is the primary beneficiary of the internship? On the ground, as it looks, is it the employer because they're getting free labor? Is somebody being displaced and they get to fire somebody that they were actually paying? Or is it the student, because this is a true on-site learning opportunity for the kid? Districts, Salida School District's doing a really cool thing. The kids are interning, they're building teacher housing in Salida with local construction companies who are engaging their kids as student interns to help build those houses, right? Like, that's just super cool. And then they're getting credit through Colorado Mountain College, who's their higher ed partner. So the possibilities are endless. Salida has a ton of resources. They were funded by the Daniels Fund to do this. They have a ton of resources around agreements as well that will be, hopefully we can get onto Don's website when that is running. So sometimes we get overwhelmed because the possibilities are endless. That's not the intention here, just saying, like, you talk to Morgan, for those of you who there's ways to get, they have that whole certification program. There's ways to get your kids coming at us. And remember, when we're talking internships, we're probably talking maybe a couple of 10th graders and 11th and 12th graders, right? We're not talking about your middle schoolers going in. Because transportation is one of the issues. So look, let me stop with insurance. General liability insurance, for the most part, at least as to this Colorado School District self-insurance pool, is covered for supervised internships, paid or unpaid, with supervised being the key word there. They need to have a supervisor at school, and they need to be supervised on the job site. Call them if and when you have any questions. If SIDSIP is not your provider, call whoever your insurance provider is. Workers' compensation. If the student is unpaid, they're going to be covered by the district's workers' compensation. If the student is paid, they're likely to be covered by the employer's compensation. Transportation is another one. There's a number of releases, all of which are draft documents on Don's Student2Be website. You get a transportation release or an acknowledgement from the parents that if the student's going to be transporting themselves, and you want to put in some language that they have a valid driver's license and they're going to carry insurance. You want to get your typical media releases for these kids. That's sort of the no-brainer. You want to get an emergency authorization, so if something happens to the student while they're on the job site, either somebody from the school or their supervisor on site has the ability to get them the medical care that they need. These are sort of just basics, and they're all, like I said, there's form documents on Don's website. You also want to put together an agreement. The way that our agreement did it is an agreement between, and I think we took this one from Denver, it's between the student and their parents, the school district, and the employer, so everybody's on the same page. It's got some real high altitude stuff about the student being an ambassador for the district, about complying with workplace policies. Thing to remember, folks, sexual harassment, all those policies that apply on the work site, that applies to the kiddo too. And any complaints, so just giving them and their parents notice of who they should be reporting things to if anything happens. How do we terminate the program? What is expected of the student with regard to grades? How many credits are they going to get? Those are the kind of things that you lay out. What's expected of the employer? Critically important people, criminal background checks on anybody from the employer, especially their supervisor, that's going to be working with that kid on a regular basis. Not a big deal, but something you do not want to miss. If the school's going to be transporting that kid, just acknowledging that. I think more often than not, you're probably going to have the students transport themselves. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything.